Oh, yeah. Yeah, so Ricky Peipi. I've been born and raised in Gisborne, and yeah, I'm currently working as an IT support person at the Gisborne Hospital. And man, pretty much. I did do the Dev Academy, which was surprisingly in, I would say, last year in March, was it? Was it this year? Can't remember. But I'm pretty sure, I know it was in March, just can't remember which year, which is interesting. So I finished the course, and then after that, I sort of just, sort of a frenzy just applying for jobs everywhere. Most of them did get back to me, probably in the first week, some in a couple of days. But then I stumbled upon one from the hospital, and I went for my interview, which went well. And unfortunately, I didn't get the position I wanted, which was a support officer. But they offered me a junior position in their area, so I managed to get that, and I started in August of last year. So yeah. Ngāti Pora. But my nan said I can also go by Tūhoe if I wanted to.
Yep.
And I was like, okay. So Dev Academy course was like a full stack web development, so it sort of covered like a bit of the back and the front end of website development, and we started off with about 4 week sort of like foundations, establishing like basic knowledge of HTML, CSS type of stuff. And then after that, once we completed foundations, we moved on to the boot camp, which was the hardest part, inevitably. Boot camp was much more in depth with the JavaScript and type of like sort of like networking and a bit of database creating, which got a bit complex especially when jumping from foundation. It was just make this bigger, make this smaller, change the color, that type of stuff. And a lot of bootcamp was projects too, which we did every Friday. At the end of the week, we sort of like randomly put into different groups, and we had to design something using the code that we just learned how to implement. And then we'll have the entire Friday to do it, and then at the end we would sort of explain it to our other people in our group, or in the course I should say. But yeah, so basically the entire course is just a diploma to sort of get you that certificate, so you can go and do some front end or back end, maybe both, jobs around New Zealand and around the world apparently.
Awesome.
Yeah. I found foundations quite easy. There wasn't anything too complex, but around the second half of boot camp was probably the hardest. Having to sort of try and remember what things connect with which, not having things work as well, going through every line of code to try and rewrite it so it work. And then probably the worst part for me was the database linking, because you had so many different pages that you named that you had to try and link, that everything had to be the same, or the same name, same letters, same size of all capitalizations of letters, where it just, if you missed one, all of it would just fail, and you'll just get an error, and the error doesn't help you. So you sort of spend your time either looking at reading your own code over and over again. But thankfully I had Rohan, who was my sort of like facilitator for the group, who was watching over my work, and he helped me through it. And then I had Terry as well, and then I had the other ones on Zoom as well, because we mainly deliberated through Zoom or Discord in the course.
Awesome. Have you always been into tech, information technology?
I would say I've been into like just technology in general. My love of tech primarily came from video games, especially seeing it, and then finding out later on that it was all created in this tiny little box. It just made pictures and made things move and fly and water move. And so once I gained that understanding, I sort of always wanted to hop into the tech area as a whole. But the way I came about IT in particular, I just spent so much time fixing my own stuff that I kind of liked it. Making your own computers, that type of stuff, fixing it on your own was quite nice. So yeah, I sort of stumbled my way into the IT field in particular of technology, but I have spent quite a while sort of like looking at the others, but I naturally just fell into IT. There wasn't for me. There wasn't really any chance to get into anything technology wise. Probably in high school, I probably had like DVC, which was just architectural design using computers, but there was no particular course that did like IT support, coding, or anything like that. So I was pretty much in the dark for most of my schooling. So there was no mention of coding courses, computer courses at all, at least to me. It wasn't until I left school and I started to go on the internet and start to browse a little bit. But surprisingly, it was WINS that actually helped me find out a lot of these, because I was just seek and just go, oh yeah, jobs. Occasionally go on EIT and that, but nothing sort of, I don't know, was there or initially got to me during my schooling.
Awesome.
Yeah. Also, I'm currently working at the hospital for IT, so that involves sort of like maintaining the computers, printers, and moving of computers and printers, and sometimes replacing as well. And a lot of the job as well is especially answering phone calls, so like troubleshooting and stuff. But I like to spend most of my time going around troubleshooting in person, which is much easier, so you can actually see the actual problem firsthand and fix it. I would say yeah, it has actually, because a lot of especially when talking to my software engineers and stuff, especially about server related or networking related issues, I can pick up the lingo a bit easier, or it's a bit easier to understand now because I have some basis of where things go and that. But other than that, I have experienced a little bit of code working with our software engineer at IT, but other than that, a lot of my understanding of servers and networking has come from Dev Academy, which has been actually quite helpful. I'll definitely say it has improved my ability to ask for help, especially with coming into a junior position, knowing nothing. I sort of had to push myself to ask for even more help, which I didn't usually do, but it also helped me understand the area that I was working in a lot more, especially going to the hospital quite often, sort of get a more of an understanding of why things take so long and how things work, especially with the hospital helping the wider range of community, sort of like a natural meeting point. And being able to sort of like help others in that area has been quite good, quite actually self-fulfilling in that type of term. But most of it has just been being able to like become more independent as well as a person, being able to talk to people more casually and offer more help especially. But yeah, the main point for me was just being able to ask for help more, which was been the best development over these 8 months that I've been there. Currently I earn about $24 an hour, so I work about 80 hours in total. Yeah, so I can't really speak on money because I don't really know how much others should be getting in my position, since I'm the only junior at the hospital. I did look up averages before I started the job, but they're only averages for people for the position that I was previously applying for. So I'll say I'm currently happy with the money I'm making. Most of it because I'm sort of oblivious to how much a junior IT person should make.
Yeah.
Honestly, I would just say browse the internet as much as possible. Search your local polytechs, unis. Try and get some free courses if you can, just to get a sort of like a taste of each. Especially in Gisborne, where not many people talk about tech in general. Or if you're still in school, maybe try pushing your careers people in that direction, because there is a lot of positions. Even before applying for my one, there was a ton of remote work. It's just everywhere, just for a ton. they were just everywhere, especially later on. There was just more and more. You just sort of just got overwhelmed. But yeah, just search your local polytechs and schools, and if you have a family member that's has done a bit of courses, like even if it's just like learning how to use a computer, maybe you can ask them if they're where they learn, if they got more courses going on there as well. As soon as I told them that I was going in that direction, the first questions I always got was, "Can you fix my computer?" So that they do like that. I have some skills, especially because tech is quite broad in its positions, and the money's quite good compared to other jobs. They're very happy, even though some of them still don't understand what I do as a job, but they do like the fact that I have found something and I'm not just floating. If you see something, just go for it, honestly.
Yeah.
Just attack it full speed. Otherwise it'll just disappear and unfortunately you won't get it. Honestly. Oh yeah, very nice. It does feel like sort of like a second home type of thing. You just naturally walk in. It doesn't feel too like quiet, if that makes sense. Like you don't have to be quiet. You can just relax a bit, occasionally talk to people. So everyone here is very nice and supportive. If you start talking about outside, especially with some people, it's just speaking on a different language, and most of the time you can only speak about your job in your job, which is kind of gets uncomfortable sometimes, especially when your manager walks in. You're like, oh, okay. But yeah, having people to talk to outside of the job is so much nice, especially when they understand the words that are coming out your mouth. Yeah, I feel like, especially because it doesn't stay the same every day. It's just so refreshing just to go to work and probably, oh, printer's broken. Then the next day is probably, oh, someone's forgotten their password. So it's just nice to not stay stagnant all the time, which I know some people complain about in their jobs, but it does get a bit hectic sometimes. But it's just nice to have differentiation.